What would make 5 grown men abandon a perfectly working car in the middle of a snowstorm? They left it on a remote, winding mountain road, miles from anything, with nearly a quarter tank of gas left. What follows is a trek for miles, ever deeper into a frozen, hostile wilderness, walking past any hope of turning back, only to be found months later under the most bizarre and contradictory circumstances imaginable. 1. Having starved to death inside a shelter packed with enough food and fuel to last for a year. The case of the Yuba County Five is a case that seems to have no logical answer. Allow 5 grown men to abandon a perfectly good running car during a snowstorm. It is a mystery so baffling, so deeply unsettling. It has earned a terrifying nickname, the American Dyatlov Pass. In their northern California communities of Yuba City and Marysville, their families lovingly and collectively called them the Boys. Though they ranged in age from 24 to 32, the name fit. The group was inseparable, a band of friends navigating life together. There was 32-year-old Ted Wire, a gentle giant who worked as a janitor and was known for his incredible kindness. He was particularly close with 24-year-old Jackie Hewitt, who had a mild intellectual disability and looked to Ted as a protective older brother. Then there was 29-year-old Bill Sterling, a deeply religious man who spent his days at the library and dreamed of teaching Sunday school. And 30-year-old Jack Madruga, an Army veteran who held a steady job as a busboy and was fiercely protective of his most prized possession, a turquoise and white 1969 Mercury Montego. His family said he babied that car and would never let anyone else drive it. The 5th member, 25-year-old Gary Matthias, was newer to the group but fit right in. An Army veteran himself, Matthias was managing a schizophrenia diagnosis with medication. His family and doctor were adamant that he was stable, holding a job in his stepfather's gardening business and functioning well. Despite the challenges they faced, from mild intellectual disabilities to psychiatric conditions, these men were not defined by them. They were independent, they held jobs, and they were cherished by their families who saw them as high-functioning and capable. Their biggest shared passion was basketball. They were the heart of a team called the Gateway Gators, which was supported by a local program for adults with disabilities. They lived and breathed the sport. And in late February 1978, they were all unbelievably excited for a big tournament they were scheduled to play in. A week-long event sponsored by the Special Olympics. Some had even laid out their uniforms the night before, a testament to their dedication. It was a tournament they would never get to. February 24th, 1978, started out as a totally normal Friday. The 5 friends piled into Jack Madruga's prized Mercury Montego to make the 50-mile drive north to the town of Chico. They were on their way to watch a college basketball game at Chico State, cheering on the visiting UC Davis team. It was a fun night out, a simple pleasure for a group of guys who loved the game. After the UC Davis victory, sometime before 10 p.m., the men made a final stop at a local convenience store, Bears Market, just a few blocks from the university. A clerk later recalled their arrival, slightly annoyed because it was near closing time. They came in laughing and joking, buying a pile of snacks for the drive home: Pepsi, chocolate milk, candy bars, Hostess cherry pies, and a lemon pie. This mundane purchase, this last moment of normalcy, would become a crucial piece of evidence. It was the last time anyone could say for sure that they saw the Yuba County Five alive and well. They paid, got back into the Montego, and drove off into the night, presumably to make the 1-hour 50-mile trip directly south back home to Yuba City. But they didn't drive south. For reasons that still defy all logic, they drove east. This was not a simple wrong turn. It was a complete reversal of their intended journey. They traveled 70 miles from Chico, climbing thousands of feet up the Oroville-Quincy Highway, a route that was dangerous and often impassable in winter. The air turned frigid, the landscape was buried in snow, and they were heading away from home, toward complete isolation. Back in Yuba City and Marysville, their families began to worry. The men were creatures of habit, dedicated to their routines, their families, and especially to their basketball games. When Saturday morning rolled around and the men still hadn't come home for their own big Gateway Gators tournament, that worry turned to sheer panic. Their mothers started a frantic chain of phone calls, each confirming the same terrible reality. Not a single one of them had made it home. These weren't guys who would just disappear. Something was horribly, terribly wrong. 4 days of agonizing search passed. Then, on February 28th, a forest ranger in the Plumas National Forest stumbled upon a strange sight. A turquoise and white Mercury Montego, Jack Madruga's car, stuck in a snowdrift on a remote service road, thousands of feet up in the mountains. The car had actually been spotted by the ranger a few days earlier, but he'd assumed it belonged to weekend skiers. It was only after the missing persons report was widely publicized that he led deputies to the vehicle. The discovery only made the mystery deeper. The car had about a quarter tank of gas, plenty to have turned around and driven away. Investigators believed it was only lightly stuck, and that 5 athletic young men could have easily pushed it free. Yet, it was abandoned. The keys were gone. A window was rolled down, and inside the wrappers from their late-night snacks were scattered about. But what truly stumped police was the car's undercarriage. The mountain road was rough and full of ruts. For a low-riding car to navigate that road without a single scratch is like walking through a mud pit in white dress shoes and coming out spotless. It suggests a level of care and familiarity with the road that doesn't add up, especially since none of the men knew the area, and Jack Madruga would never have risked damaging his prize car. There were no signs of a struggle, no blood, no evidence of foul play. It was as if they had calmly stopped, got out, and simply walked off into a blizzard. A massive search was launched, but a brutal winter storm hit, forcing everyone to retreat. Just as police hit a dead end, a strange story surfaced. A 55-year-old man named Joseph Schons came forward, claiming he was on that same road the night the men vanished. Schons said his car also got stuck in the snow around 5:30 p.m. While trying to free it, he suffered the early symptoms of a heart attack and collapsed back inside his car. Hours later, lying in pain, he said he saw headlights appear behind him. He reported seeing a group of people, which he thought included a woman holding a baby, and hearing whistling noises. He cried out for help, but the figures went silent and their flashlights clicked off. His story changed over several interviews, and while investigators confirmed he did suffer a heart attack, his account was too inconsistent. For them, trying to use his testimony was like trying to build a house on shifting sand. The foundation was just too unstable to be reliable. With the search called off due to the weather, the families were left in an agonizing limbo. Winter held the mountains and the secrets of that night in its icy grip for 4 long, painful months. It wasn't until June 4th, 1978, that the forest began to reveal its secrets. The first body was found nearly 20 miles uphill from the car. A group of motorcyclists stumbled upon a U.S. Forest Service trailer. Its window was broken from the outside. Inside, they found a body, carefully wrapped from head to toe in 8 sheets, like a mummy. It was Ted Wire. The autopsy revealed he was emaciated, having lost nearly 100 pounds. The length of his beard suggested he had survived in that trailer for as long as 3 months, before finally dying from starvation and hypothermia. And this is where the mystery becomes truly maddening. To starve to death in that trailer is like a man dying of thirst while sitting next to a gushing fire hydrant. In a nearby shed was a propane tank that could have provided heat. Inside the trailer were matches and furniture for kindling. Most incredibly, while a dozen cans of sea rations had been eaten, a locker full of dehydrated food, enough to feed all 5 men for a year, was left completely untouched. Ted Wire had wasted away in a place that held every means for his survival. The discoveries that followed were just as heartbreaking. The remains of Jack Madruga and Bill Sterling were found about 11.4 miles from the car, their bodies scattered by scavenging animals. Jackie Hewitt's bones were found a couple of miles from the trailer. All 3 appeared to have died from hypothermia. And what about the 5th man, Gary Mathias? He has never been found, but police know he was in that trailer. His tennis shoes were found inside, suggesting he might have swapped them for Ted Wire's larger leather shoes. The sea rations had been opened with a P-38 can opener, a tool familiar to military veterans like Mathias. It seems Gary, along with Ted Wire, had survived for weeks. For decades, the case was cold, but an internal memo from 2023 revealed a stunning shift. Authorities now privately believe Gary Mathias was a victim of foul play, and his disappearance remains an open homicide investigation. So what really happened that night? The American Dyatlov Pass nickname comes from the series of seemingly irrational decisions the group made, similar to the infamous 1959 incident where Russian hikers mysteriously fled their tent into a blizzard. One theory is disorientation. Perhaps the men, some with cognitive challenges, got confused, panicked, and made a series of bad decisions. But that doesn't explain why they would walk 20 miles uphill into deeper snow. That's like a lost hiker ignoring a clear path down to a ranger station and instead deciding to climb an unknown peak as a storm rolls in. It also doesn't explain the pristine condition of the car. Another theory is foul play, which has gained credibility with the police memo classifying Mathias's case as a homicide. Did the men run into someone? Was Joseph Schons' confusing story about other people and a pickup truck actually true? Some family members have speculated they might have witnessed a crime and were chased up the mountain, but there's no hard evidence. Then there's the focus on Gary Mathias. Given his history of schizophrenia, some have wondered if he suffered an episode and led the others into the forest. However, his family and doctor insisted he was stable. Furthermore, some relatives of the other men stated they were afraid of Gary, but the fact that police now consider him a victim of homicide makes it far less likely he was the cause. Trying to solve this case is like assembling a puzzle where every single piece comes from a different box. A car that worked, abandoned. A long walk toward the freezing cold, not away from it. A shelter full of life-saving supplies that went unused. This case has far more questions than it has answers, and that's why I want to know what you think. What is your theory for what happened on that mountain? Which specific detail just doesn't sit right with you? Let me know in the comments below. For over 4 decades, the families of the Yuba County Five have lived without any real answers. 4 of their sons were found, but the reason they undertook that fatal journey is still a mystery locked away in the Plumas National Forest. The 5th, Gary Mathias, remains a ghost. His empty tennis shoes in a lonely trailer, the last trace of him. his case now officially considered a homicide, but his final fate unknown. The story of the boys endures as one of America's most haunting and heartbreaking unsolved cases. A tragedy defined not by the clues that were found, but by all the evidence that simply makes no sense. If you found this story compelling, and you want to hear more real-life mysteries just like this one, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you know. And if you want to support the work I do here, hit like, drop your theories in the comments, and share this video with someone who loves unexplained cases as much as you do. I post new stories every week. Stories about disappearances, strange encounters, and the parts of our world that still don't make sense. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.